especially directed towards the DCI on the use of this. But if you look at the wordings,
yes,
the wordings are very clear. It's the intention of this Prevention of Terrorism Act that people are questioning. Was this the intended reason for the act to be in place? What the DCI are using it for now?
I do not think the Anti-Terrorism Act anywhere in the world, except in states like Uganda, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, countries like those which are not democratic, are used against political opponents of the government of the day. And therefore, there is no justification whatsoever. Mm-hmm. In Kenya, this terrorism, because we've been the subject of terrorist activities, we know the kind of people who are charged in those anti-terrorism courts. Largely, we have had the Al-Shabaab, people connected with the Middle East, and of course, other kinds of dangerous people. Like there were some people from Iran who are mysteriously released by this government within the first week when it came into power. Therefore, so that the departure is that we know who terrorists are. The kind of people now being taken to Kahawa law courts to be prosecuted with anti-terrorism charges are just normal political protesters. The second point that is crucial for purposes of this, I've actually been personally involved in at least 3 of those 5 cases that have been taken to Kahawa. In all of them, I'm happy, and I applaud the magistrate and the judiciary for that they all did not find difficulty in setting free the people who are charged with this. It is another period of what is clearly political persecution being criminalized with the worst offenses in order to achieve what is clearly political persecution. But talking about the DCI, one of the major achievements of the 2010 Constitution was a requirement that the police shall be under the control of the Director General of Police. And the Director General of Police shall have political neutrality and shall work in a manner that does not favor one or the other side of the political groupings on political grounds. It is obvious that that the IG Kanja is really not in full control of the Kenyan police. And particularly, and this could be a historical issue, Mheshimiwa Pogisho can talk a little bit more about it, but I believe I read it from history. From a long time ago, the CID, as it was always used to be called, you remember people like Francis Sang and the people who were there during the time of Kenyatta, were always people who worked with the president of the day. So that the DCI historically tend to work politically. There is no sense in which in the Republic of Kenya currently you can say that Amin operates as subject to the headquarters of the police. Amin clearly operates as a political operator of the Kenya Kwanza government. Okay. And he has deep connections with it. That is a fact that we are all aware.
But Wakili, just looking at the wording of the act,
yes,
and they say the law cuts both ways.
Yes.
That if a court is presented with this issues to do with serious risk to health or safety of the public,
yes,
or section of the public, some things that we've witnessed,
yes,
use of firearms or explosives, serious damage to property.
Yes.
These are some of the wordings used to describe a terrorist act.
Yes.
And if the law cuts both ways, a court may be justified in looking at this and saying, yes, whatever you're presenting to us is already in the law.
In one sense, yes. But the issue of terrorism, when you talk about intent, you read the word intent. The word intent is supposed to connect. Some damage might occur in the course of a demonstration, particularly a demonstration in which the police decides to act too aggressively and the people react. There could be some damage. But if the underpinning interest was to show political agitation, is completely different from where you can say Al-Shabaab is engaging in violent acts in order to pursue certain ideological objectives, which by their very nature are criminal or are terroristic by definition. Remember, terrorism is a global offense. It's not just a national jurisdiction issue. And that is why, for example, when you go to the court of Kahawa, you see like it was the American government embassy, UNDP, and those other countries who are actually sponsored even its constructions in order to achieve a global agenda to fight terrorism. So that you actually jump across the whatever, the Rubicon or anything, when you start saying that the people who should be dealt with in the political jurisdictions are being dealt that way. But there's another related point that is also important. When we went to Kahawa in these three cases, one of the things that we were able to tell the magistrates and to convince them was this. Unlike in the days when Koigi Wamwere could be said to have raided Bahati police station and they were charged and people would start wondering, did it happen or did it not? Huh? In all the current, in Kikuyu, in Dagoretti, somewhere in Nyahururu or Karao, we actually could see the people on video.
Yes.
People who raided those police stations. Those people who raided those police stations and the police were sitting aside doing nothing. Their part of the narrative is, these are government-sponsored thugs who are engaging in terrorist activities. But now, the people that we see on video, they are not before the court. Okay. So that for the court, because the judges and magistrates are expected to be rational people, the question must be asked, if we are not seeing people who we saw on video being prosecuted anywhere in Kenya, then why should we believe that somebody who was not even anywhere involved in anything on the particular day is the one being charged? Okay. So that the issue is that a time really must come that what clearly appears to have to be a mindless and childish kind of narratives not to be run on Kenyans. Because you cannot just have gangs raid a police station, not a single shot is fired, and then you start collecting people and saying, these are the terrorists. It can't wash in the 21st century.
Okay. Bwana Pugisio, karibu sana to this conversation. And